Welcome back to Pizza with Writers. I'm here with my very good friend, Marc Guggenheim. He is the co-creator of the television series Arrow, and he writes tons of comic books and movies. And he had a novel out that I read that was quite lovely, which I enjoyed very much.
Thank you.
So it turns out there is one thing that I read of his. I read your book Overwatch.
That was the only thing. Yeah,
yes,
that was the only thing.
Which I liked very much, by the way. Right?
That was the only thing I've written, I think, that's even in the vein of stuff you like.
Yes, it was. It takes place in the real world.
Yes,
and there are actual problems. It's an espionage book.
Yes,
and I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about writing.
Okay.
All right. You, I know, spent a few years after college. You went to law school.
I did.
And you worked up in Boston.
I did.
So, what happens that you go, you know what, the law isn't for me. I think I'm interested in show business.
Well, my parents were really bad parents. Very bad Jewish parents. What happened was this. Here's the short version. The short version is, I was in my third year of law school. My middle brother, Eric, was in his senior year of film school, and he asked if I would write a script with him. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'll do this. What the hell? I'd always enjoyed putting words together. Like, I wouldn't call it writing, but the idea of composing sentences,
right,
and the music of language, I always really enjoyed. So I'm like, sure, what the hell? And I really got bit by the bug. So that was my third year of law school. Cut to, I was in year 5 of being an attorney, right, and a bunch of things were happening. By that point, I had written a screenplay that had gotten me some attention, got me some meetings, and, there was an audience. Did you
fly out from Boston out here to showbiz?
I used to take my vacation time to go out to Los
try
Angeles
to
and take meetings.
And peddle a script.
Not peddle a script, but just take meetings off of the script. And
okay.
So there was that. I was 29, so there was the 30 was looming as a thing.
Sure.
I was in my 5th year of practice, which is when you need to sort of fish or cut bait on the whole practice of law.
You're saying you're either going to become a partner and you're really going to commit to this
I'm either going to go for this or
I'm going to get the hell out.
Yes. And then finally I was growing disillusioned with the practice of law. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna move out to Los Angeles. I'm gonna try to do this, and I could always become an attorney again if it didn't work out. And then the day after I quit being an attorney, I realized I would never be an attorney again. I didn't care how things worked out.
Well, this is going to be hard. Since you stretched it all out, I'm going to have to work like a magician now.
You told me to throw it.
I know, but I didn't tell you to punch your hand through it. I told you to be gentle.
It's beautiful.
Well, it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm going to make it work. I hope. What's the difference for you between writing, let's say, a procedural, like Law and Order, and writing something that's more fantastical? Is there anything different about it?
There isn't, actually. There really isn't.
So explain that, because it sounds like it's different to me.
No, but in both, you have to inhabit a world with rules. Even in science fiction, there are rules. There are rules to the world. The world of Star Wars operates different from the world of Star Trek.
All right. And so what's fun about that? That's the part I still can't wrap my head around. I really can't. And so I'm hoping that you're going to explain it.
Well, I think there's not anything to wrap your head around. No. You either, appreciate the fact that, okay, hey, I'm visiting this new world, and it's either the world of the future or it's another planet, but there's another world, and you either appreciate that aspect or you don't.
Right.
And clearly, I always think in terms of what takes you out of it. What takes an audience
Dennis Miller. If I see Dennis Miller in a movie, Dennis Miller takes me out of it.
Okay, well, there you go. And clearly, Dennis Miller playing an alien would really take you out of it.
So what was the first thing that anyone paid you money to write?
I was hired on staff of the show The Practice, which was
convenient given your law background.
Even more convenient given the fact that I practiced law in Boston and the show was set in Boston.
And So what got you that job? Was it a screenplay that they read that they liked, or did you write a spec practice?
No, actually, none of the above. I wrote a spec West Wing. This was the first season of the West Wing, and I wrote a spec West Wing.
Okay.
And it was I was driving. I flew out of New York. This was before 9/11, when you can actually buy a one-way plane ticket.
Right.
And my trip to California was out of JFK, and I was driving down. It was like 2 a.m. I had all my possessions in my car,
Right.
and I saw this truck. I mean, at 2 a.m, the only thing that were on the turnpikes were all these trucks, and there was a truck, and on this mud flap it said, "Without us, the country would shut down." And
By the way, that's totally true.
I agree. And I was like, "Ooh, that's a West Wing episode." Like, that's, because this was around the time of NAFTA.
Right.
And I thought, ooh, what if all the Teamsters decided to go on strike and shut the country down?
Just like it happens in France.
Just
it
like
happened later.
Yeah.
I mean, many years later.
Oh no,
but
I was ahead of my time.
Yeah, you were way ahead of
I
your
was.
time. That's absolutely right.
And
so that's the.
that was the basis of.
Okay.
That was the A story of the West Wing spec, and I wrote it in 4 days. And
did they ever? I don't think you ever worked on the West Wing, right?
no, I wanted to
No, you wanted to.
desperately.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It is.
I gotta say, I like that show.
I've always been working Aaron Sorkin's side of the street, and I
have.
always wanted to write for him. But
So, let me ask, do you like the idea of creating some kind of new world? Like, is that part of the fun? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I like the creating of some new television show, some game show, whatever. I like that it's a puzzle that hasn't yet been invented. And then when I invent the puzzle, I figure out how all the pieces go together, and then I am satisfied, and then I don't want to be involved anymore.
right.
Right? I want to know, is that part of what's fun about it, or is the fun for you in the seeing of a thing that gets built, that then they now make this world that you've invented?
No, because not always do you write something that you actually get to see it produced. But
You're in a fortunate position that you get to see quite a bit of the stuff that you sit at your desk and think about get made. And so I'm wondering, is part of the fun seeing the sets go up, or here are the lasers that we invented, or here are the costumes that the people wear? Is that part of it?
I'm kind of a lousy writer in the sense that actually, if you follow my Twitter feed, I can just stop at that sentence. But
I do follow your Twitter feed, and your people seem to enjoy it. You have about
They do.
46,000 followers.
They're not followers; they're self-esteem points.
Okay.
But
Be that as it may, you and your self-deprecating.
but no, I'll tell you, for me, I love writing. I love the act of writing. That's really the thing. Everything else it's either icing on the cake or it's ancillary. I love the act of sitting at the keyboard and writing and quite frankly becoming this person that's so much smarter than the person I spend the rest of my life with.
That's a terrible way to talk about your wife.
I know, but apart from
By the
her.
way. Oh, apart from her.
But I mean, apart from her.
Oh, you're saying that when you become the god of this universe.
No, when I just become the guy at the keyboard.
Right.
That guy's smarter than the guy you're talking to.
Right.
And I like spending time with that guy.
You do.
I do.
So, let me show you now something else.
I'm enjoying this.
Okay?
I feel like there's a public service being
There is.
conducted here. Yeah,
That's exactly right. So what I have here in my hand is the same ice that I had in this glass, only this ice is what I think of as slick ice, right? It is, I ran it under cold water for just a moment,
Really?
swirled it around. Yeah.
This is really interesting.
Okay? So now, when I pour the soda in,